Wherever you are in the world, welcome to another edition of Jerry's Take on China. First, he was missing in action. Then he was on sick leave. Then he was either fired, stood down, resigned, or removed from office. There are many reasons why this could have happened, and I'm not going to speculate on which I think it is. I'm simply going to say it's clear that Qin Gang is no longer in his position. Qin was appointed China's foreign minister on the 30th of December 2022 and has been at the forefront of China's massive diplomatic activities throughout this year. And then he wasn't anymore. Wang Yi is back, but he hasn't lost his position as the director of the Chinese Communist Party Central Committee Foreign Affairs Commission office. He has resumed his old role as Minister of Foreign Affairs and will conduct a dual role of Director of and Minister for Foreign Affairs. One of the most refreshing things that I like about Chinese media is the lack of gossip. But at the same time, it can be frustrating not to know what's going on. However, an announcement was made. It's been reported in Chinese media that Qin is no longer foreign minister. As far as China are concerned, it's time to move on. Before we do though, let's look at what China can learn from this. For sure, the US media don't want to move on. They want the juicy gossip. But there are just as many rumors floating around China's social media, which is another example of how China's media is wide open and extremely free to gossip or even criticize. Inside of Chinese media, we're hearing stories. Qin is either a womanizer. He's a womanizer who either made another woman pregnant or had a baby with another woman. Or he's a spy because the woman he had the relationship with is a spy. Or he's a spy because he worked in the USA and mixed with the wrong sorts. Or he's sick with COVID, which is unlikely. Or maybe he's sick with something more serious. Or perhaps he's had a nervous breakdown. Or he's inefficient and only ever got promoted because his wife made excellent mooncakes and shared them with Xi Jinping's wife. Each of these is as likely to be true as the next, but each of these is equally as unlikely to be true. But one interesting thing is this. As of today, he has not been removed from the party and he's not been stood down from his position on the State Council. Both of which indicate that at least for the time being, it's unlikely that this is related to any spying allegations, and it's equally as likely to be, or unlikely, to be related to any form of corruption. If it were, his party positions would have been removed. The bottom line is, we don't know. I don't know, the US intelligence community doesn't know, and if they did, they would have leaked it to the Washington Post or the New York Times already. So, what does that tell us? A couple of weeks ago, at the Aspen Security Conference, CIA Director William Burns told the world that the CIA was rebuilding its human intelligence gathering capabilities inside of China. And let's be honest, if that were true, the CIA wouldn't be telling an open forum that it was. Or perhaps they would, because they would assume that their opposite numbers would feel the same way. If it's true, then they wouldn't tell us. So they tell us to make us believe it isn't true, and it actually is true. Remember the "we lied, we stole, we cheated" quote from Pompeo? Perhaps that's all this is, another great big lie or cheat. But I don't think so. I'm confident the USA doesn't have any information from the higher echelons of China's governance, because if they did, we'd already know what happened to Qin Gang, and we don't. So that tells me something. William Burns paid a secret visit to China in May, but it was all over US news media. The newsbreak apparently came from the UK's Financial Times and was published on the 2nd of June, but is behind their paywall. Obviously the CIA can't keep a secret, or maybe they can, and they wanted the world to know. Again, we'll never know. It is, after all, the largest lying, cheating, stealing organization in the world. But it's clear to me that the US intelligence community isn't in possession of the facts, and it's equally as clear that Chinese media isn't going to help them out. Chinese media respects privacy. It won't inform the world if Qin Gang is sick or ill. It respects the security of the nation, so it won't inform the world if he's being investigated until the investigation is finished. And it respects individuals, so it won't speculate on whether he's been having an affair or not, because that's between him, his family, and if there is one, his mistress. Whatever has happened to Qin, I personally wish him well. He's a good man. He's a good man for a difficult job, and I hope that if he's unwell, he gets better. I hope that if he's accused of anything, he gets exonerated. And I hope that if he's been unfaithful, that it was worth it. It seldom is. Thanks once again for watching Jerry's Take on China, and I'll see you next time. Please don't forget, like, share, and subscribe.